I'm going through the complements and objects quiz. I'll go through each answer, what was expected from you, and then you will make corrections. This will go through an ed puzzle, and the ed puzzle will stop a lot, and you'll make corrections, and then you can get some points back on your quiz. Write down 2 rules for indirect objects. The main answers would be that indirect objects come before the direct object in a sentence. And then B would be that, obviously, that you would have to have a direct object. You must have a direct object to have an indirect object. Now, there were a few other answers I took, but just kind of depends on how they're written. Generally, these were the 2 answers. If you have an action verb, that means you look for a direct object. Then you would go on to look for an indirect object also. So we can put that in there too. All right, now, the next one. Underline the direct object in each sentence. If there is an indirect object, circle it. Put your initials in the bottom right-hand corner of the paper. That was just see if you're reading directions. Some sentences may not have either. Write none underneath those sentences. So if you had a direct object, you would underline it. If there was an indirect object, you would circle. I am going to boldface the indirect objects because I don't have a circling function that works too well on this. So we ate steak for dinner after the meeting. We ate. What did we eat? We ate steak, and so steak should be underlined there. There is no indirect object there. Snow and ice covered the streets. Snow and ice covered. What did they covered? They covered streets, and so streets is underlined because that's the direct object. Again, there is no indirect object there. She gives violin lessons to Jacob, the boy from the neighborhood. You want to concentrate on this first part, the independent clause. That's what you always concentrate on. She gives violin lessons to Jacob. So, she gives. What does she give? She gives lessons. And so lessons should be underlined. A lot of people try to make Jacob the indirect object. What's the problem? Jacob is after lessons, which is the direct object. So he cannot be the indirect object. He's the object of the preposition there. Number 4, everyone loves candy whenever they need a quick sugar fix. Notice you have an independent clause here. Everyone loves candy. And then you have a dependent clause whenever they need a sugar fix. You have to focus on the independent clause for your direct object. Everyone loves. What does everyone love? They love candy. And so candy should be underlined. Now, I did take in the dependent clause, if you went with they need, whom or what do they need? They need a fix. You could count that as a direct object too, and so I would give credit for that. Number 5, the teacher, frustrated with our talking, gave us an assignment. In this one, you want to kind of ignore frustrated with our talking. So the teacher gave, whom or what did the teacher give? An assignment. It gave an assignment. Now, here is the first time that we actually have an indirect object. Who received the assignment? Us. It works because it is before the direct object, therefore making it an indirect object. The children are playing like wild animals in the street. The children are playing. Whom or what are they playing? Well, you can say like wild animals, but that's telling how they're playing. You do not have anything in that sentence. So for number 6 would be one where you would write nothing. Okay, or in the directions I think I said to write none. Okay, so underneath. So underneath that sentence I would have written, I'll go ahead and do it just to make it right, none. I brought a balloon to Diane for our anniversary. I brought, whom or what did I bring? I brought a balloon. Now again, notice Diane is after balloon, so she is not an indirect object there, so it's just balloon for a direct object. Number 8, I put 2 sentences on here. Either one that you answered was fine. I just wanted to make it look a little clearer for you. Can you send me a letter? You could flip that to, you can send me a letter. So, you can send. Whom or what can you send? Letter. So letter is your direct object. And in this case, you do have an indirect object. It would be me. So me, go ahead and make that bold. The baby who has been up all day needs a nap. So basically the baby needs a nap. The baby needs. Whom or what does the baby need? Nap. And so nap is the direct object. And last part of this section, the students asked the teacher many questions. The students asked. Whom or what did they ask? They asked questions. So questions is underlined. To whom or for whom did they ask the questions? The teacher. So the teacher is the indirect object. We'll keep moving on to the next section. In this section, circle the linking verb in each sentence. A lot of people didn't even circle the linking verb, so that doesn't help at all. Then underline the predicate adjective or predicate nominative. Write PA or PN above it. Circle the word linking in the first sentence of these directions. That was see if you're paying attention to directions. I gave 2 bonus points for that. If it is an action verb, write action and stop. Here's an example. Jimmy was excited about the new car. We've underlined excited, put PA above it. In this case, I will go ahead and I will boldface the linking verb and then underline the PA or PN, and then I'll just tell you if it's predicate adjective or predicate nominative. All right, so after the long hike, the scouts were hungry and tired. And so we have were. That is your linking verb. We'll put that in bold. What were they? They were hungry. So that gets underlined. And they were tired. Now, they are describing the scouts, and so they would be predicate adjectives. Over here, George Bush was our 41st president. That's our linking verb. And then that goes with president, which is going to be underlined. That is the predicate nominative. President is a predicate nominative. Number 3, looked is our linking verb. How did it look? It was beautiful. And so that is a predicate adjective because it's describing how the sky looked. Remember that equal sign. You can take that out. Sky equals beautiful. And then you know you have your linking verb. We talked about that in class. Laura studied architecture. Right here is our verb, but this is actually an action verb. And so you would just write action, and then you can go ahead and stop with that sentence. The fresh baked cookies smelled delicious. How did they smell? Okay, smells our linking verb. Delicious is our adjective describing that. Number 6, after the rain, the river is muddy. We have is as our linking verb. And then muddy describes the river. That's what the river is. And so that would be a predicate adjective. Number 7, the prairie wildflowers were daisies. Were is our linking verb. Oops, bold that. What were they? They were daisies. I'm going to mess that up. Said they were daisies. Daisies would be renaming wildflowers. Wildflowers were daisies, and so it's predicate nominative. Number 8, Raphael looked happy about his test score. We're going with looked. How did he look? He looked happy. Therefore, happy is a predicate adjective there. His excuse sounded silly to me. Sounded is your linking verb there. How did it sound? It sounded silly. And so silly is our predicate adjective. John felt embarrassed about his actions. John felt. Felt is our linking verb. How did he feel? He was embarrassed, and so embarrassed is a predicate adjective because it's telling how he felt. Moving on, circle the verb and underline any complements associated with the verb. Be sure to write what the complement is above the word. Some people didn't write what the complement was above the word, so I didn't really know, if you knew it was direct, indirect object, predicate adjective, predicate nominative. I had some people that would mark a direct object and a predicate adjective in the same sentence. You can't do that. Okay, so I'll go ahead and, like I said, I'll boldface the verbs again. Bill's favorite sports were hockey and basketball. Were is your verb. It's a linking verb, so you're looking at predicate adjective and predicate nominative. Hockey and football are predicate nominatives. Number 2, the mayor's policy is important. Is always an automatic. Okay, is a linking verb. Takes us to important, because that's what the policy is. It's important, and so important is a predicate adjective since you had a linking verb. Once again, number 3, we have is once again as our verb. So in this case, the girl in the green sweater is my sister. So the girl is, what is the girl? The girl is sister, and so sister is predicate nominative. No one heard the announcement on the radio. Heard. Now this is an action verb. So we're thinking direct object, indirect object. Whom or what did no one hear? Announcement. And so announcement is the direct object. Number 5, torches lit the tunnel in the gloomy mine shaft. Torches lit. Whom or what did they light? They lit the tunnel. They lit the tunnel. And so tunnel is our direct object. Let me boldface our verb there. Number 6, this item is on the list is unnecessary. Is, once again, shows up as our verb. The item is, what is the item? The item is unnecessary, and so that should have been predicate adjective. The item was unnecessary. 2 valuable metals are gold and silver. We have are, which is also a linking verb, so we're thinking predicate adjective, predicate nominative. In this case, we have gold, silver. They are renaming the metal, therefore they are predicate nominatives. Number 8, when will Lena tell him the truth? I just reworded it to Lena will tell him the truth. And so in this case, we have will tell is our verb. What will Lena tell? Truth. So truth is our direct object. And in this case, we do have an indirect object. Because who's going to receive that truth? It's going to be him. I'll put that in italics. Okay, it's going to be him who will receive the truth. Jake bought his coat for a very low price. Jake bought. So bought is our verb. Whom or what did Jake buy? He bought coat. Now, a lot of people had his for an indirect object. That's not the case there because it was his coat. So his is working as a possessive of the coat. So it is not an indirect object. It's just coat is the direct object. Higher education gives. There's our verb. What does it give? It gives opportunities. So we underline that. Who does it give the opportunities to? People. So people would be the indirect object. Opportunities the direct. People is the indirect. Joseph Audubon was an amazing artist. So Audubon was, so we put was here in the bold. What was he? He was an artist. Okay, and so artist is the predicate nominative because it is renaming Joseph Audubon. Number 12, after hours of hard work, his muscles were stiff and sore. So we're really looking at his muscles were stiff and sore. Were is the verb. What were his muscles? They were stiff and sore. So they are predicate adjectives there. Finally, the Constitution guarantees freedom for all. Guarantees is our verb. Whom or what does it guarantee? Freedom. Now, since guarantee is an action verb, we're looking at objects. So whom or what does it guarantee? Freedom. So freedom would be the direct object. And those are the answers to the quiz.